be super quick, but I'm the local organizer at the New York City Anti-Violence Project. My colleague Jared Ringer is also here. He's our hate violence and police relations coordinator. So he's a counselor and a counselor advocate on site. AVPB ran a 24-hour bilingual English-Spanish hotline for anyone who's experienced or witnessed violence. And I say witnessed also because I know that coming to, unfortunately, more than one of these events, I know that violence affects more than just the person who identifies as a survivor. You know, violence affects communities as a whole. And so one way that I feel that AVP can be helpful is that we offer a variety of services, and we also do advocacy work and community organizing work all around New York City. So we do police advocacy work, court accompaniment, as well as facilitating processes with the Office of Victim Services and a variety of other things. I hate speaking in public, actually, but I just wanted to make myself and Jared available for questions that anyone has throughout the event. So if you have questions about what we do, or if you've looked at information and you're confused by it, you can come and talk to us. And yeah, thank you for coming out.
Thank you very much, Chris. And I'd like to invite Jessie LaHood from Safe Horizons.
Hi, my name is Jessie LaHood. I'm a social worker with Safe Horizon. Just to give you a little bit more information about our services, we can provide services to victims and survivors of any type of crime or violence. And that includes hate crimes as well as like sexual violence and intimate partner violence. And we can provide free and confidential counseling, as well as also help with the Office of Victim Services applications that was mentioned a second ago. I also wanted to just take a quick second to say that we also work on Project Envision Williamsburg, which is a community-based coalition that aims to work towards prevention of sexual violence. I also Brenda from CAE is also involved in that, so I wanted to give her a second to say what she wanted to say about Project Envision.
Hi, my name is Brenda Jones. I'm from the Center for Anti-Violence Education as well as Project Envision. And Project Envision is kind of a new coalition that's been developed in 3 neighborhoods in New York City, and one particularly in Williamsburg. And our focus is going to be to look at trying to prevent street harassment, and doing that through education and working with people, not just the people that are affected by it, but the people that may, have the potential to perpetrate it. So we are actually going to be working with the St. Nick's Alliance to develop a program to start working with young people as well as their staff members to look at how to deal with this before it happens. Because as we've been seeing, it's not just about taking care of ourselves after these things happen, but we have to find ways to stop it from happening. And we know that this is a long-term project that we have to be doing, but we really hope to see, more members of the community involved in this work. Envision Williamsburg is going to be meeting monthly throughout Williamsburg, and if you are interested in coming to any of our meetings, talk with me, and I can give you our contact information. Thank you.
Or you can write your email down on the Safe Horizon list in the back.
Thank you, Jessie and Brenda. The short people like to use these stairs too. I would now like to invite up some representatives from the NYPD, and I'd just firstly like to recognize Deputy Inspector Herson, who's not here tonight. He's taken some vacation, but since the incident with Barry earlier this year, the 94th, especially our Deputy Inspector and our Community Affairs Officers, Truglio and Adamo, have been exceptionally forthcoming with the elected officials and community leaders, making sure that they are sharing information with us as soon as alleged hate crimes are taking place, and allowing us to do the organizing and outreach that's necessary. So I really do want to thank them and introduce Detective Tim Duffy, who's the Mayor's LGBT liaison, and Captain Komar, together or separately, however you'd like to do it. Captain Komar's representative from the 94th.
Hello. Just as District Leader Ressler said that he was saddened by the events that have been happening here, and that was the impetus for this meeting. I have to say that I also personally am saddened by these incidents as well, and I speak for the police department as a whole, and certainly for the police officers of the 94th Precinct. You know, I do want to reaffirm that, you know, it is our policy and it is our goal to aggressively pursue any crime and any criminals, and that certainly includes people who perpetrate hate crimes. We know that there's an added element to a hate crime because we know that it is motivated by something that a person is and had no choice to be. And it has nothing to do with their actions or what they do. It is who they are. And that adds that element where, you know, it's basically discrimination. We understand that and we take it seriously. As far as the role of the 94th Precinct goes, we are the first responders. We basically the first ones who arrive, and depending on what we're told, we make an assessment, and if it becomes a bias incident, it becomes a big deal. Usually an executive officer like myself will respond, and it goes up the chain, and we call in the experts, we call in the people who are familiar with these type of situations, who deal with it all the time, who have been handpicked, because of their sensitivities, their motivation, and because they're the best people to deal with that situation. What I've been hearing a lot is that many people are afraid to come forth and speak about, you know, the fact why it's a bias incident. And I can understand that. And that is why we have people in place, and I know the District Attorney's Office has a hotline in place where people can call confidentially and let us know, okay, this wasn't just an assault, this wasn't just harassment, this wasn't just a robbery. There was something more to it, and I want to let you know about it. And that seems to be the major obstacle as far as getting the word out to us at the precinct level, is that people sometimes don't want to come forward and tell us because, you know, they're family members. You know, we are a society in transition, I would say. People have families and friends who may not know what the issues are. And so we have to be sensitive to that, but it's also an obstacle in getting the word out to us and for us to properly assess what's going on in the community. So open communication is important, and we do have ways of overcoming that obstacle. But basically, by being here, I just want to show that, you know, we do take this seriously. I did express that personally to the victim of the, not this last incident, but the prior incident. I was working, and I personally met with the individual, and I expressed that we do take this very seriously. Okay, and that's what I wanted to leave you with. Now I want to introduce Timothy Duffy from the Police Commissioner's Liaison's Office, who is one of these people who deals with this specifically and is a person that everybody should feel comfortable with talking to, and that's why we have him. Timothy.
Thank you, Catherine. Just to reiterate again, I'm Detective Tim Duffy. I'm the LGBT liaison to the Police Commissioner. Before that, I did 18 years at the 6th Precinct, which is Greenwich Village, 9 on patrol, 9 in community affairs. What I'm here for is in case there's, like these cases where people unfortunately may not feel comfortable to report it to the police officers on the scene, or even in the case where maybe somehow the right words weren't expressed, or later on they remembered something, we can then go back and re-look at this case, bring it to hate crimes and have them look at it. Our hate crimes unit is by far the best in the country. I would say with the best in the world. I don't know of any other department or any other country that really investigates these cases that well. Their conviction rate is amazing. But some of the problem is just the fact that what actually is a hate crime, because it's a heightened charge, there's heightened stuff that we need to prove it. So without getting into individual cases, if somebody comes up to me and doesn't tell me that I was a victim of a hate crime because they called me because I was a black woman, or because I was a Hispanic male, or because I happened to be a gay man, if they don't say those things to me as a police officer taking the report down, nothing happens other than it still gets reported. It's still an assault, it's still a robbery, whatever the incident is, it's still that. It just may not be deemed a hate crime. 2 days later, maybe something gets jogged in their memory, or maybe they feel more comfortable about it, or a friend has talked to them. We can still relook at that case. There are cases where there are domestic incidences where we don't think that there might be a hate crime aspect to it, and later on in the investigation in the DA's office, stuff comes out in their own version of what happened. The DA can charge a hate crime. So there's many ways a hate crime can get charged. It's just, unfortunately, those first responders need to have that information. So if they don't have that information, they can't contact the sergeant on patrol, the sergeant can't then contact the duty captain, and then it goes to hate crime. So that's the first thing we need to do. Please feel comfortable if you can. Now, if you don't feel comfortable, report it later. There's plenty of places you can report it to. The AVP, the Anti-Violence Project, we work unbelievably well with them. They have their own way of reporting hate crimes. We work in tandem with them. You can contact any member of the gay officers actually. We have a website that you can report to them. They can transit along. I will have my business cards. I will have my business cards for anybody who wants it at the end of the meeting. That's our main thing, and we're trying to get the word out there so that whatever the case may be, if it's a hate crime, the easiest thing for a precinct cop to do is to call the patrol sergeant. It's no longer their headache, unfortunately. It's now going to be investigated by a completely different unit. So we're not looking to downgrade any of these cases. If there is the proof and the stuff that we can make a case out of, we'll be happy to take it. But if someone comes up to me and tells me I don't remember anything about the incident, I can't assume because they're a black man that it's because they were a black man that they got assaulted. Or because they happen to be a Hispanic woman, that's why they got assaulted. I need them to verbalize to us as a police officer what happened. There's a case that a gentleman lost his memory and 2 years later he got a lot of it back. They're looking at the case and possibly making it a hate crime. So there's no time frame on these things. These always can be reopened. They can always be re-looked at. It's just a matter of trying to get the word out to your friends. And maybe you'll go home tonight and someone will tell you, I think I may have been a victim and I reported it to the police, or I didn't report it to the police. We can't do anything if you don't let us know. And if you don't let us know what it is, then we're going to take what you tell us. So if you were assaulted, wherever you are in the city, we're going to do what we can to catch that perpetrator. But without any further information, that's all it's going to be. And again, if there's any questions, I'm here. I worked with Tom many years. I worked with a lot of people in this room, so please feel free to reach out to me any way I can help. Thank you very much.